Hello, hello. Good morning or good afternoon now. Welcome to another ES Futures trading stream. Today is Monday, November 18th. It is the third week, one, two, three, yeah, the fourth week actually of November. We have 3 or 4 more weeks, actually maybe 2 more weeks before the rollover period starts in this market. Before November, 1 more week before, 2 weeks before November ends. And we have an interesting market, very interesting market here. It was last week, it was a really hard week to trade, because we have this break 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all-time high that was made on Monday, right? Since that day, value was kind of like moving lower. There was evidently sign of weakness on Tuesday. It was a weak day. It was a weak market after when this day closed, and it kind of gave us a clue for what may come, right? If this high was not taken. The nuance we have in the markets, we have an all-time high that was made during the overnight session, but who cares about that, right? And what followed was volume moving lower with a big gap here. Even though we have this selling coming here, or this movement, this downside movement that came to the market, it was very hard. It was very hard for me to get along, to get in this movement. Right? If I split these profiles, I see very questionable high here, right? Non-excess high here. Add that one to this, then we have another one here, then we have three-way high here, right at 6,000. And this day, closing the gap, or almost closing the gap. I don't know, I guess it closed. It closed the gap after the market closed, right? After 4 p.m. And that gave room for what happened after that. This day, which is Friday, I believe was the only clear opportunity that we have here when the market tried to close the gap, and it just failed. It just didn't have it. But they gave, in this process, and this is why it's very important to carry on information for the next following sessions. But there was tremendous back and forth around this area here, and I decided to highlight this one, or actually rather keep that area highlighted, that from this day here. Now, this is the day after, this is November 5th or 6th, right after the elections, after this huge gap we have in the overnight. And remember, who trades the overnight, right? And particularly after the market closed this distribution, the master failed to take this upper one back, right? And that was short here. Or at least you have location here. If you got something here, location, closing or coming back and taking this low out, risks potentially, closing the gap. But it didn't happen, right? And at some moment in time, when the market gets around here, that's a good entry as well. It's a good entry, but it's a little bit further, a little bit far from this area, from location, right? Remember, when we have two distributions, I treat these distributions as separate days, right? And that's why I call also this price high questionable, right? And as the day open, as the weekend open, we have something very interesting here in this opening as well. But sometimes openings give us a clue about about the dynamics of the market. Well, the market open here, it gives us a little bit of extend here and then just break here. Right? There was a huge boost to the downside, and then of course we know what happened after that. Very questionable highs here. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 highs. 11 times the market was sold from this area. All of this inventory that we have down here came from this very questionable selling here. And the opening, I actually had some of these 65, right? 65 puts here. This was the premise behind that. We have the 5,900. The market opened, actually opened at the last price. It sold from overnight hardback, which is very questionable, right? Which questions the downside movement. But that is just one piece of information. And the market came down and just took this overnight, this Friday's POC, and it tried really hard to keep this area safe, right? But it never could do it, right? It never could do it. We have some profit taking here, or reestablishing position, or rebalancing, call it whatever you want to call it. And after that, we have short covering here. More volume coming here. Big, significant. You have 10,000 and pressure to the upside. We have this pressure. Notice the pressure that we have to the upside. We have some pressure to the downside. But notice the color of these things. This is white. This is low volume. Right? Low volume. This is about the same. This is even less than this, but this is higher relative to the period itself. There's way more volume during A than during B, but the volume that we have here relative to the period is low. And then it repeats here again. Okay? We have about 10,000 here, something like that, and again we have here. Then along comes D and E. By the time the market was doing this, we have, I guess we have 4 distributions. Or 4 distributions happen when we have E here. We have E here, right? And if you would pay attention here, it came exactly from hardback, previous period, exactly to the tick here. And when the market was rising, when the market was down here, man, something that comes to my mind, well, man, this can be a decent trending day, trending to the upside, right? Odds were improving that we may have some day to the upside. When I check my markets, where it is? Okay, when I check the markets, I have here Nasdaq, ES, Dow, and Russell. All of them were inside, right? All of them were inside previous day range, with the exception of Dow. The Dow actually looked below, right? The Dow looked below and came back inside. This movement that looked below and come back inside actually targets the opposite side of that range. And Nasdaq, the Dow moves kind of like a similar ways than the ES. Sometimes the Dow follows, or sometimes it's the ES that follows, but both have similar movements. I'm not trading the ES based on the Nasdaq. As a matter of fact, I took a trade here in Nasdaq after a while, right? Really, when I saw this formation here. Okay, I see this formation here. This happened when the ES was coming exactly from hardback. This market also, which is Nasdaq, came exactly from hardback. You can see this is hardback plus period, and not just hardback, but look at this. And this is the 5 minutes. This is the 30 minutes Nasdaq. And I have here the ES in the same way, right? 5 minutes and 30 minutes, just to have to see it. Now you can see now, I can see now there's a liquidation here, right? In the 5 minute chart. This look like liquidation with actually in the short term, in the very short term, actually may have some potential to the upside here. It's now the next thing here for me at the time was, man, I don't want. I mean, I got my short, I got my long, but I said, boy, this movement is so slow. The volume also. Just check the volume. The volume was very low as well. Let's take a look. I was checking this one too. Let's take a look how the volume is relative to the previous day, right? Just look at that. How much volume we have. Each period has less and less and less, right? And now we have almost, let's check, it's going to be even less today. I mean, this period. Okay, that for me increases the odds that we may see some rotation. At one moment point here, it's really hard, right? Really hard to jump in the train, right? Just get on board and go with the market. It was each time, but each period, tempo was getting slower and slower and slower and slower. And we have some really important, for me, this was a really important area. Let's check this one. This is a level that I was checking from actually. Now is this high? This previous month high here. Previous month high, and this is it is actually a reference in all time frames. Along with this, we have the trend line here, right? And that was my potential destination for a long here, around the 207. I mean, 6,007, something like that. I know 5907, 5907, something like that. This is when I just exit. And look at how much just check how much I left in the table, right? But that was following your rules. Has to follow the rules. From the beginning, I said, okay, this is going to, if I have it, this is going to get out. And potentially, I was thinking, could this be an area? Could this be an area where the market finally reaches exhaustion, right? The first sign that could be the case was E coming from D halfback, and F. I was, and this is the thing that kills traders, right? I was expecting F to have a low at around this area. And then reach back or failing to get inside this and then get a short. And I didn't have that, so I wasn't part. Now, as we speak, look what's happening here. Now we have POC, markets going back and forth. G again, the same. You can have an idea what kind of buyers this market has. Nothing has changed. The same kind of sellers that we have here. The same kind of sellers that we have here. Here. It's the same kind of buyers that we are having. Very short-term trading going on here. Very short-term trading. And the market is in between two gaps. Right? The market has no back and filling above, has no back and filling below. Right? What do you do here? Right? Remember, this big gap we have here is selection night. And I'm going to duplicate now this thing, so I want to show you something else here. We have something here, that is this 15-day range here. Because this 15-day range here, and the market has re-entered this range. have a gap, we have this trend line as well. You know, technique. Why I see these things, right? Because I am noticing today, for example, there's a lot of short-term trading, and the shorter time frame the traders, the higher the odds that they are going to be looking at these kind of references here. These technical measurements. Notice how volume here kind of like start to increase, right? It goes higher and higher as the market goes lower. This is another thing. What traders expect. And this is different kind of traders now. Not very short term, not the 5 minute traders, but pros. What they usually will expect is some rebalancing here. You know, some back and forth here before the market continues its way down. Please take what I say when I say before the market continues its way down with a grain of salt. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, that has to be clear for you. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You got to be ready to get along with whatever's happening. What matters here in this business is noticing what is happening. Not what will happen, much less what I want to happen. Remember that. Those things really get in the way when we trade. Try to remain as neutral as possible is very hard. If you are struggling to have a mindset or to remain neutral, what has helped me in the past was to come to the market with a decision to not to trade. I'm not going to trade, okay? And this is just incidental. This is just my experience, right? Another trader may have another experiences that can maybe fit your personality. This is just personal. That's why the title of this channel is educational and personal view of the market, right? Everything I do here is very personal. This is not a suggestion for you to buy or sell. That's not the thing, because I believe, and I agree with you, I have this from Jim Dalton, is trading cannot be taught. We have to learn how to trade. But what I can teach you, right, something that can be taught is what can we watch, right? What can we look for before we make our decisions? That's the key here. Now, it is 12:35, almost half session has passed by. We have a rotational market. You know, this upside trend, intraday trend, which I thought at the beginning was going to be a trending day, has ended in E, and E is early, very early in the session. So the odds now is we're going to have a back and forth. We may have some rotation here. And look at where this market is actually. Kind of very center. Look at the profile here. It's an inside bar so far. Look at this. Look at this is Nasdaq, man. This can go in any direction. There's a lot of inventory. There's a lot of people here. This is the 5 minutes, right? Always remember. There's a lot of people think the market is going to go lower. There's a lot of people that think the market is going to go higher. Whatever it is, this movement can have some strength. You know, the wider the range, the more dynamic the resolution of the range. And remember, this is the shortest time frame. I mean, there's 1 minute also, but that 5 minutes. 5 minutes is just too much noise. Just too much noise here. When I use this, 5 minutes, this is just to find maybe some quick trades here. This is what we call a scalping, right? Now taking an opportunity here. Let me show you what I was talking about. Just look at this, man. What do we have here, right? Perfect trend line here. really perfect, really nice trend line. What do you have here? You have a nice balanced range. Huh? And sometimes we have look above, and then immediately after that is you go to the market goes to the opposite side of the range. You know, so it takes both, right? The shorts and the longs. You know? It's just a matter of I guess this is what people call stop hunting. You know, but this is just experienced traders, more seasoned traders that know, more sophisticated traders that know what's going on, right? This inventory accumulation in the weakest hands, yeah, and they just take that inventory out of the way. You know, they take advantage of that. Now another thing here. There's a rebalancing. Gold is in liquidation mode. There's a significant liquidation here. There's a rebalancing happening here. The trend remains in bonds that are trending lower, very low actually. Crude oil remains. I mean, there's some good oils here that can go maybe to 65, something like that, right? Yeah, it can go. Yeah, this is it has found a base around the 66. I guess that comes from a long time ago. Does it? No, September. You may have. This actually can breach that 66 level here. The dollar remains strong. Let's check the Nasdaq. Monthly is trending higher. Weekly is trending higher. The only one that is going lower is the daily. This the bigger time frames are actually trending higher. Look at this. The Dow actually, the monthly has been breaking, has been breached here. This low has been breached here. The weekly as well. Gosh, man, look at this. This is market. This, I think here, this is more significant. This level here is more significant for the Dow. I think this market has better odds. Okay? Better odds of downside continuation. And if this happens in the industrials, guys, that can happen here as well. Just let's pay attention. But Nasdaq is, I thought, was weakest. Actually, this is a week low here, trending higher in the weekly. The daily is going lower. Yeah, I thought Nasdaq was weaker, man, but also Nasdaq remains high to the upside. That's why it's very important to check. You always check your bar charts. I wanted to come to the market. I wasn't making any stream the past week because I was really focused in the market. These streams will be shorter and spaced in time because they really get in the way, man. They really get in the way when you trade. The other thing is I may actually do some stream here, but right, this is the but. Maybe mute it because that way I can focus more on that. Now I look at where these loans are coming. No? The same thing. Yeah? They attempted to take this area. Now I will take this area. Right? This was a guess before, but I can see now this is something. I guess even before that, this range here, remember, the range that we were talking about previously, this high here, this is previous month high, this one here is what I market here, my market profiles. I have a market here. Very questionable, very questionable. But there's one thing here, right? We have a market, we have a tone here that is to the upside. The tone is to the upside. Value also is to the upside. So even though I may have some questions about the movement we are seeing today, why I would want to go against the movement that the market is doing today? Right? Many times, the market feeds itself, on the traders that keep shorting the market. How many times have we talked, right? How many times have we talked that when market has low volume, the market has this tendency, right? They have this grinding upside movement. That's grinding movements to the upside. Just be aware. Just be aware of I guess not be aware of that. Try to remember that, because these are not, what I talk here is, it's not a scientific way to see the market. It doesn't mean when this happened, meaning that if this happened, I'm going to do this, right? If A happened, I'm going to make B. I don't see the markets that way. I don't do that way, because if that was the case, what I will do is I can just build a program, right? Put the program, put it out there, and just say it, right? If this happens, do this, right? Look at what's happening now, for example. Where G low was, give us an indication of who is doing this trade. The same type of trades that we're buying here, the same that are trying to take this market high. Look at the range. This range that we have in NASDAQ has been taken to the downside. I think we have a range also in the ES here. What I don't like here, but this is just one piece of information, right? Is the rotation that we have here, right? The downside, the action to the downside has already ended. G ends that. We also may have an action to the upside, and value is higher. Right? The market is to the upside. Now this low has been taken. Let's see if this specific market, the NASDAQ, if it comes inside this range, it may take this high out. I don't have anything here. I don't have plans to do anything here. I believe also that I have too many of these things. These are just very distracting here. I guess one is okay. Yeah, only one is okay. What I have here is the volume of this period, or the current period, his histogram, and this is the delta, right? This is the delta count within the bid and asks, right? If it's positive, you got the buying, there's overcoming the selling, and you got negative is the opposite. But the most interesting thing for me, or the feature that I like here, is the color actually, right? We have really low volume at this level, 2000. I would call good volume maybe 9,000, 10,000, something like that. And if that is accompanied by a 4-digit volume here, right, 4-digit, that is when it may become interesting. All right. All right, all right, all right. What else? Now, Benny, when markets are rotational, when we have rotational markets, also what I do, I expect is 1, 2, right? If you have anything, the stop is very tight. It's very tight, and if your trade works, if my trade works, I don't expect much. Because that's the market we have. That's the market you have, right? It's not giving too much. All right, guys. Unless there is a question, I'll be calling it a day. What I will do tomorrow, I will come. If I see a quiet market. Oh, there's another thing, right? Last week we had this opportunity really. I would say maybe even lately, the opportunities were coming early in the market, and that's why I didn't do more streamings as well, because most of the opportunities that we had here were during the first period actually, right? During the first period, you got something here that was. If you don't have an appreciation of the market here, right, it was really easy to keep a short here, right? The market actually give you, if you were short here, the market give you many times, right? Many opportunities to get out of the way. You have settled here, all this inventory is long, so this downside moment can be a counteraction to the long inventory, right? After, because market has to deal with all business fields, right? This is the business. This is the current business, right? Next thing, we may have this overnight here or this overnight here. We have this gap here or this gap here. And the key to everything, but you might see, and I have these two areas, man, actually the market is in between these two areas. Why I have this one here? This is where the area, this is an area from where the market has this big break here, but this is very questionable. At the time, there was like 12 periods wide here, 12 periods wide. During the election night, the market stayed here for quite a while, back and forth, building also volume or value here, but the value was made by weak trading here, weak inventory here, weak long inventory. And on top of that, I have these huge blocks here, the 9,000, and also there's another one here in this day, 12K. This is really huge, right? Really huge. Where is this 9 or this 50 moving average now? This 58.22. 58.22. Let me move. It's getting closer actually. 58.22. Oh, look at that. Center of the moon high as well. It's not here anymore. Oh, come on, man, I cannot erase this. This is 68, 68, 64. 68, 64. It was lighter than that, right? It was lighter than that. It wasn't that. Yeah, it was like that. Something like that. All right. So the 50 is up here. 5680 is the 100. It's way down here. I guess it's not worth it. But let's do it, just in case. 58, 56, 80, 56, 80. Let's put 682. Let's put it over there. 58.26 is the adjusted. It's not that far. That's about, I could say maybe it's the same. $26. I guess I will call because this is the current. 14-day range high. Is this other range? We have one range here and we have another one here. This is also a breakout. This is this breakout here. And this is another breakout. I will keep this just in case. Oh boy, look at how close it came. look at us. You have break, right? We have a break, range, like a mini break here, like a mini range here. This is just, man, I guess this can be. Let me try something. I guess. Where it is? The heck? Look at this, huh? It's getting back inside this way. As soon as it gets back in here, and this is the Nasdaq action. Can we get something here? Oh, come on. This is pure short-term trading. Well, my stop is this low here. This is going to be 36. Let's move it up there, 43 auction. But 36 is a good area here. No, that's why I don't like using this ladder. This is just a scalping. You know what's happening here? Just scalping here. Right? I don't trade Nasdaq, and this just moves so fast. The same thing is going Now the same thing is going in the years, right? Can you see? It come back to the range, come back inside, and now we have the opposite side range. Remember when we talked at the beginning, right? Sophisticated traders that have experience in the market can see. Now we don't have noise, which is what we have, when in the open pit, we have these traders trading back and forth, screaming out loud. Now we have screens. I can see this, you can see this, everybody can see this. But the thing is, right, if you don't have an appreciation of what's going on, you won't see anything. Right? The same thing this will be similar to when I don't know if you ever went to fish with somebody that is a fisher or has experience fishing, but you go with this person, or can be a hunter, or take it, whatever area somebody has an expertise in, right? Is in this case a fisher. I go and I say, okay, this is a good area to fish. Well, today under these circumstances, this will be here. I can see it, right? But why? I say, it's just he couldn't explain it. But it's the experience that tells him, okay, this is going to be a good area. It can be a center of the river. It can be a shallow. Later, by studying or talking to another people, you got some kind of appreciation as well. Right? Just out of curiosity, right? It's, for example, in hot days, fish had a tendency to move to the shallows. Just like us, and it's just those little things, right? Little nuance that the market has, and this was a nuance. This was a nuance here. This was a nuance we have here. Now, when markets are doing the same thing, why call markets the indices? Because that's what I trade, right? I trade ES, but I have Nasdaq, ES, Dow, and Russell. When all them are in sync, the odds that movement have some continuation and it can hold are higher, right? Just like that. Now, being this a rotational day and being the market reach the opposite side, we may have some spike here, but why risk, for example? If I have something, why risk this, right? If I have long here, have my stop, place it at low this, why risk? Okay, it has to come all the way up to here. Why? That's the last, how much is that? 10%? 15% of the movement? The market can come all the way back up to here, but that was not what I designed or I expected to happen when I took the long. Right? Now, if the market moves fast, that's another thing. Right? It changes. The context now is different. And this was just something that happened live, right? Something that we can use. You can use to our advantage. Now, remember, value is higher. The tone is to the upside. Right? The tone is to the upside. That also, when you start having this experience over and over, that stays in your mind. You don't have to remember now. Okay, the market's up, I have to look to the upside. You have to remember that becomes part of you. I remember those days at the beginning, right, when I don't know if I can call this like if I had a plan, but I have this market, I have these observations, but as soon as the market opened, everything just went out of the window. I was just so focused in price. I was so focused in this. Okay, market's going higher. I had to be long. I completely forgot about what I have seen before in the monthly, weekly, daily time frames. But other markets that can affect my market, may be doing as well. And everything just went out the window. But when you stay in the market long enough, of course, it's very painful as well, right? You start to see happens. You start to see happens, or the same thing happen over and over again. Just like that. I hear. Oh, okay. I guess I was here, clear thinking. Oh, by the way, this is the book that I'm listening now. You know, one of the main things, if we want to become sustainable, right? One of the first things that we may do, instead of focusing on winning, we rather focus on not losing. This doesn't mean that I'm not going to have losing trades, right? But the objective at the beginning is survive. That's the thing, survive. Unfortunately, most people don't think that way. Most people think that this is a job that I can come. Okay, it's my lunch. I'm working. I have from 12 to 3:30. I'm going to place a couple of trades here. I'm going to make a quick $50 or 100 or 200. I don't want to make to 1,000. Just 100 is okay. It's not like that, unfortunately. You know. From my perspective and from my experience, this is, or for me, this is the hardest thing that I have ever done in my life. I did some really hard things physically. I went through a lot of things as well. And by far, this is the hardest. I don't know what's your experience, but this is the hardest business I have been on. All right. I say goodbye before, but again, if you don't have any questions or comments, I will be calling it a day. And I wish you guys a really wonderful rest of the day. All right. Stay safe. See you tomorrow. I will try to come back 9 tomorrow. Okay. See you. Bye bye.